Okay, I got it. I got it. I don't know why this is a thing. Like every single week, it seems I've been starting this podcast, talking, not realizing that I muted myself. I'm going to get the flow of it at some point, but at this point, right now, nerves frazzled. You know, I wake up every Sunday morning and I get up like around 4 a.m. and I start preparing to try to get things together for the show. And seemingly, when we get right here to the last hour, is where things start to unravel and changes start happening. And in the process of all of that, some things just don't click in my brain the way that they should. So anyway, again, welcome to the Formula Podcast. I'm your host, Tariq St. Sankofa. This is the podcast where we get together on a weekly basis to share ideas and information from our individual healing journeys with one another. That would be myself and my co-host. And in the process of allowing you to ear hustle, to listen in on that conversation, we hope that something we say will be beneficial or inspirational to you. Our motto is A equals EP2, Ascension. Is the outcome of experience and proper perspective, and we try our best to kind of bounce things off of one another, share some information, and help each other find the perspective that we're looking for. So, that said, I'm glad that you all chose to be here with us this morning. If you're over there on YouTube, I'm grateful that you are logged in. I do apologize for us being late this morning. As I said, last minute things happening. It's chaos. So I appreciate you. I want you to know that. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got a good show planned. A few things. Yogi is not going to be here this morning. He is traveling, so he won't be able to give us tool time. And we are waiting on Mahogany Soul to land at any given moment. So for right now, it's me at the wheel, and I'm going to do the best I can to hold it down until the rest of the hosts get here. Normally, I would introduce them and then share. We would all share with one another information from something that we journaled during the week. That's sort of a project that we started 2 weeks ago. We journal during the week. We get together. We share that information. We talk about it a little bit. It's just me, so do with that what you will. But I will share with you the journal entry that I chose for this show, the one that I want to share this week. How should I show up today? Stomping, full-footed, military marching and infantry entering every room, attacking every unpleasant to do, focused on fighting that awful feeling I too often find seated on the sofa, cup of coffee in hand, with judgment in its eyes, asking, "What did you get up for today?" At night, I am its little spoon. In the bowl of my being is always frustration. Wishing should have was did. The war continues. How should I show up today? Limping when my legs don't really hurt anymore, immobilized by phantom pain when the moment is gone, feeling sorry for myself, searching for sympathy, picking up paper plates and plastic utensils for tonight's pity party, an affair to be only attended by me and my shadow, because no one else ever RSVPs. Let me back up. An affair to be only attended by me and my shadow, because no one else ever RSVPs. And why would they when even I don't want to be there? I don't think I'll do that today. I think I'll cast a spell over my excuses and just alchemize everything into something or someone better to rest with when I close the blinds of my mind and deal with the darkness. I think I'll choose all the good feelings I didn't get for Christmas because I didn't earn enough that year. This time, I'll get my hands dirty and make my whole self a seed. And I'll do it stretching my face into a wide smile, all the while only allowing myself to imagine the too good feeling of having it all in my hand, transport myself on the inside to the day it all comes knocking on my door with work-worn knuckles. I'll do it in the spirit and in this fickle flesh, everything all at once in agreement. How shall I show up today? Very important question. And I'm finding that decision that conversation happening in my head first thing in the morning is becoming more and more important. I think last week it was, I mentioned that it has become paramount for me to reframe the narratives and how I tell the story of my life, that I no longer want to show up as a victim, that I no longer want to tell the story from a victim perspective. And instead of talking and telling people, or, let me tell you what I've been through or what happened to me, instead, now the narrative is framed from the perspective of, let me tell you what I survived. Let me tell you what I had the privilege to experience. Let me tell you the experiences that taught me the most important things that I know. Because even in the bad that has happened, that is so, so much of it is sometimes beyond our control, even in all of that, right? Um, it's important, again, A equals EP2. It's important to have the right perspective. You'll hear me say over and over again, one of the first things that I learned when I started researching and studying Buddhism was, there are 1,000 aspects to every experience, which means that for whatever situation you are going through, whatever you experience, there are 1,000 different ways that you can choose to look at it, even the worst of circumstances, right? Because it matters how you tell the story to other people, and it also matters how you tell the story to yourself. Because if you tell yourself on a daily basis that you were a victim and all these horrible things have happened to you and they shouldn't have happened to you, and why didn't they happen to anybody else? If you get stuck there, you'll never find peace. Peace is comes in alchemizing it, right? Peace, I think, is comparable to, well, I teach African American literature. And one of the things that I talk about in teaching a lot, teaching African American lit, is the blues tradition, right? The blues tradition is about, it's an aesthetic, right? Not just a genre of music, but it is about taking the worst of what we have experienced as a people and converting it, transforming it into another form that is beautiful, that is palpable, that and it really is a tool of survival. The blues is how we have survived this crazy life and history in America. And I'm finding that the peace that we seek on the inside is wholly dependent on our ability to master alchemy and embracing the concept and the aesthetic of the blues, and taking those bad experiences, turning them over and over and over, and figuring out for yourself, how else can I look at this? And how can I walk away from this experience with something useful? Because if I can't find something useful in it, what am I left with? Right? So did it make you a stronger person? Did it make you wiser? Did it make you more discerning, more vigilant? Did it challenge you and force you to grow? Did it expose a part or piece of you to yourself that you didn't even know was there? Right? Did it expose other people in ways that you needed to know about? And maybe it was painful. Maybe it wasn't the best experience, to have, but what did you gain from it? What did you gain from it? How will you show up today? Victim, survivor, choice is yours. All right, that's that. You know what? Let me go ahead and skip ahead. We have several guests today. We got three. One of them is one of our swingers. I've talked about the swingers position before, where we have guests who come on to do segments of their own choosing, people that Mahogany and Yogi and I are familiar with as creatives, as just generally good people whose voices we feel matter and who can offer something that maybe we can, sink our teeth in. So we have a very special guest today. Friend of mine, amazing poet. I think I just told him a few days ago that he is one of the only, oh, I shouldn't. He is one of very few poets these days that I feel like when I listen to him, I learn from him. Amazing poet, phenomenal person, got a book coming out, got a book coming out, and he is a member of the Poetry Club. If you follow that over on Instagram with JC and the Poetry Club people, I'd like to introduce to you. His government name is Rahman, but the word on the streets is that his OnlyFans porn name is Ram Rock. Just Ram if you're nasty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Just,
Rahman.
just ram if you nasty.
Ram. Oh, you
How
know
we
what?
doing?
Hold up, Ram. I'm all out of whack today without my
Yeah, I
people.
know.
Hold on. I know, right? So let me give you your hold on.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, now we got that. Okay, sorry about that. My brain is literally all
Oh,
over the place. Me doing this by myself. If I know that I'm doing it by myself, then I can,
yeah.
I can
Okay,
do it
I
by
got you.
myself.
I got you. I got you.
All right,
How
loud
are you?
whispers. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm overstimulated and exhausted at the same time. Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that. All right.
Hold on. So
Yeah.
first and foremost, um, tell us a little bit more about yourself because I didn't even mention where you are, all of that, and then you can give us the concept of what Loud Whispers is all about. Let me mute
All right.
myself.
All right. All right. So, as you said, I'm Rahman, aka Ramrock Speaks, from the great island of Jamaica, but I migrated to Canada in 2001. So I'm a Torontonian. So my lens is a little different from most. I'm a poet. I'm a marketing phenom. I'm a sales trainer. Um, I'm in the telecom space, but I also write and read a lot. And I'm a little bit of a poetry nerd, if you may. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Po-
Um,
Not a poetry snob.
not well, snob, nerd, interchangeable depending on the way the wind blows. So loud whispers. The concept is there's a lot of things that we um hmm, there's a lot of things in the poetry scene that we just take and we uh we take for granted poetry on a whole. And there's a lot of things that I see being in the industry for so long that I don't like. And because I don't like them, doesn't mean it's wrong, but I'm going to talk about them.
You have
Um,
opinions. You have a right
and I
to have
do have
opinions.
opinions, and I do have a right to have opinions because I'm human. So
and
tonight, today, so no, wait, what were you going to say? Tell me.
no, I was going to say that's why, and so this concept came about. What was it like a month and a half ago? Because you posted
Yeah,
some stuff on Instagram. You said the loud
yeah.
part. I
I
mean the
said
quiet
some.
part out loud
I
and
said some quiet
upset.
part a lot.
Let me tell you that the creative babies dug deep to find their offense that day. I was looking at the comments like y'all are y'all all right?
Yeah.
This is proving the point, but go off.
No,
You-
the quiet part needs to be said out loud, right? Everyone has opinions. They may not agree with it, which is okay. I mean, that's
Mhm,
fine, but I'm valid. I'm valid in my
mhm,
thoughts. So I did a carousel about open mics and poetry and
mhm.
what is see today and what it's not supposed to be. And the Instagram the 20 something thousand views later, this thing
You
is blown up.
you started a war.
I started a war. So
Let me shut up. Go ahead. Let me get out of here.
so um let's talk a little bit. A full disclosure. Yes, I am a poet. I am an Instagram poet. I am in-person poet and I post on Instagram. I do the carousels. Um, I've been tempted by, the little one-liners with arbitrary photos. So I'm not throwing stones outside the glass house, right? I'm throwing stones from inside the glass house because I pay rent here. And but some of y'all are making the neighborhood look real bad. And we, we need to talk about that a little bit. We're treating sadness like it's a Netflix subscription. Let me repeat that. Treating sadness like it's a Netflix subscription. We call it craft. It's not craft. It's a performance addiction with a thesaurus. We love the idea of being broken more than being healed.
Pocket.
Because the healed don't get the sad face emojis. We start casting people in our tragedies just to keep the content fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Wise up, y'all. Like, sometimes they're not even sad. Sometimes they're not even that sad. You just know sadness performs better. That's not poetry. That's a marketing plan.
Are you saying that people are faking their tears?
Clock it.
Ooh,
All right.
okay. Okay.
That's point one. So let it not be a Netflix subscription. Like, chill. Part two, the cyclical poetry. Why is everyone writing the same damn poem? The same breakup, the same pseudo healing, the same I
Ooh,
am the goddess rising from
mm,
the ashes, the
my
same
God.
font, the same sunset, the same rising, the same damn poem every time. I'm tired of seeing the same damn poem.
Yes.
Facts. Like,
Preach,
I
preacher.
I scroll and I can tell whose page I'm on instantly. Y'all got the same voice. I don't know if there was a free class on Instagram poetry writing's workshop that I missed, but y'all sound the same. The same dear lover who did not deserve me. Oh, the same narrative, the same 3-slide carousel with the last slide being a self portrait in a bathrobe looking out the window.
No, no, no. Oh.
What will you ask?
No, 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 no.
Hey,
Hmm.
what window you may ask? Like, what are you looking at out there? Like, what are you searching for? The plot? Because there's none. Like, and the depth versus the surface thing. I'm guilty sometimes, right? I get it. Sometimes I write. Um, I've looked at a chair, yeah, and felt a feeling. But the difference is I interrogated the feeling and I sat with it. Y'all see a chair, an empty chair, and post, I am the absence you finally noticed. Girl, it's IKEA. It's
Because
$39. Somebody went to just get some water from the fridge. Not every
Ram,
piece of furniture is your abandonment issues.
Ram.
I have
A,
to say it.
a
Sorry.
chair is still a chair.
A chair is still a chair, a home is still a home.
Okay.
Real depth is ugly, man. Like, it don't fit in a font, it don't fit in that carousel, it don't trend. But we're scared of our own ugly. And so we whisper in the pretty cursives that the algorithm likes. We hide behind the aesthetics because the truth is too loud. And
Mm,
loud don't get likes. Loud gets
mm.
you told to lower your voice.
We do not care.
And lastly, um, this one is super important to me. Um, Poets who don't read.
Oh, oh.
Poets who don't read. Poets who don't read poetry. This is one of the things that keep me up at night. I'm not lying. I do night workshops, so that's probably why. But you're right, writing poems, but you don't read poems.
Mm.
It's like cooking for a restaurant. You've never eaten that.
Mm.
You're just seasoning your own ego. You don't know what has been done, so you automatically think this is the first time it's ever been done, and I'm the greatest, and I've never done this. This has never been done before. You don't know what looks tired. You don't know what is tired.
Mm.
You think you invented the breakup sonnet because you've never read a breakup sonnet. You think you discovered vulnerability because you wrote "I am soft" in lowercase font. Um,
What?
Trust me, it's been done by better, by
Mm.
blacker, by people who actually bled. And and then the ones who finally discovered the Harlem Renaissance, they know who Maya Angelou is, they know who James Baldwin is. All of a
Oh.
sudden, you figured out last week who those people were, and they found Langston Hughes exists, and now they think they're the second coming. I too sing America, yes, beloved. He did in 1926. It's
Hmm.
2026 right now. So you're not adding to the canon at all. You're doing homework 30 years late
What's the
and asking
cannon?
for
Like the kind you shoot out of?
yes, like the time you shoot out of.
Oh.
You're doing homework 30 years late and
Mm.
asking for extra credit. Wise up. You discovered June Jordan and now your bio says poet activist. Like you didn't just find out black
Poetess.
people right. Like you just
Poetess.
found out that black people could write poetry last Tuesday. I'm just asking
Oh.
y'all to read. Read so you know what to write. Read so you know what ground is already holy. Read so you don't stand on the page and recite a poem that's already.
Uh-oh. I was frozen. Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know where. I don't know what the last thing you said because I was frozen. But listen. So first and foremost, thank you very very much for saying this is not going to win you any. You do know this is not going to win you any friends.
that's
I'm just
okay.
saying, just
I
so you
haven't.
know.
I have many friends. I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to reserve my commentary because I have often been accused of being a poetry snob. And I listen, I don't like everything.
And
I
that's
don't
okay.
I don't I don't like everything. I will tell you like I feel like my greatest creative pet peeve is the lack of imagination when you talk about people doing the same poem, because when I sit in on the virtual open mics and all this stuff, and I listen to people, and I'm like, how many vagina poems we gonna get? How many poems is in that thing? Like what? What? Uh, I I'm all for like positivity and
Hmm.
embracing and loving yourself and owning your sexuality and
Right.
all of the things. But there are so many things that are going on in the world right now that need our voices. Like when I think back to, you mentioned Harlem Renaissance, and
Sure.
we can go back to like the Black Power movement and look at the works of your June Jordans and your Nikki Giovanni's
Nikki
and Sonia
Giovanni.
Sanchez, Rita Dove, Amiri Baraka, like
Hmm.
Essex Hemphill later on with the AIDS epidemic and all these people were putting their art and their creativity, they were assigning it a purpose,
Right.
sending it out in the world to do some work, because you can take 8 years of history and condense them into a poem the size of a page and do and say so much. That's the reason why we're still reading those people's poems. That's the reason we're still reading Phyllis Wheatley.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the it this the work had a purpose for me. This is just for me. I always say I feel like art is it's a compass, right? North, south,
Mm.
east, and west.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when for me, and I'm not imposing this on anybody else, I'm not telling you what you should do, but when I write, I think about whether or not this poem has the potential to elevate us, to take me
Mm.
north,
Mm.
to cause us all to collectively descend. Like, did you just show up and trauma dump on all of us and then leave us in all your sadness and sorrow with no hope and no redemption anywhere in the work? And now the whole room is in
Is
shambles emotionally and triggered as hell. You just took us straight down to hell. So north, south, east
hmm
and west is lateral movement. Are we staying in the same place where we've been for a while? Is that purposeful? Is that what like spirit is calling for artists to do right now? Let's stay right here for a
hmm
while until we figure out what the ascension point is. But I always try to think of it in terms of where is this poem going to take us. Now, if you want to be technical, I know there's a northwest and southwest, and I know all of
yeah,
the in
yeah.
betweens. But my main point is aim up. Bitch.
Aim
You
up.
thinking too low. You need to aim up, bitch. Aim up. Because if the poem didn't make you feel any better, then how do you think it's going to make me feel?
Make me
And why
feel
the hell do you think I showed up for that? Like you're inviting me into an experience.
right.
Do I want to have this experience? Did you ask for my consent?
Facts. No, it is.
And I'm
It
and
is facts.
I'm not saying don't ever write any sad poetry or
No.
don't write any painful. I write plenty of painful poetry. In fact, I'm probably getting ready to read one. But I write plenty of painful poetry. But there's a purpose I'm aiming for. What's the up?
Hmm.
What is the
Hmm.
inflection point that allows me to rise after this? Leave people with some hope, because that's what we need right now. And personally, I don't even like vagina. I just, and y'all get upset when I start reading poems about hmm. Now all of a sudden everybody's uncomfortable. How many poems did I have to sit through about
right.
vagina and breasts and titties? And like I wasn't uncomfortable. Now
Right.
you uncomfortable? Anyway, I'm sorry. Go
No.
ahead.
No. 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 Shout out y'all in YouTube. We see you.
Hmm.
A day. Yes. Yes. A day. We've already been friends, so don't worry. She said. A day said.
Help me heal, bitch.
right.
Help me heal.
That's the part that I think
Something.
a resolution bleed all over the stage, bleed all over the thing, and then what? Like it's hard to get these stains out. I don't want them. And I think another thing is in the open mic space. Um, yes, there's trigger warnings and etc. But after you finish, you guys need to be aware that these hosts and all these people that are taking in all that at the end of the live, they're by themselves,
Mm,
swallowing that, trying to deal with that, and then having to go to sleep.
mm,
After all of that, it
mm,
doesn't just happen. So be
mm.
cognizant of that, and please, if you're gonna give us trauma, give me a resolution, give me a pivot, give me a turn. Or if you're not working on that, work on that.
Also, I'm I'm just gonna say one more thing my lawyer want me to say before I go. When you hop on these people's open mics, these virtual open mics and things that they be doing online, and it's your turn, can you please not give us 20 minutes of what's been going on in your world for the week before you ever get to the poem? Because it's people behind you on the list that want to. You're
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
feature. You
Right,
you
right.
got 3 minutes and 30 seconds to
Let's
sit
take
your
it.
ass down. What are you doing? You done told me your whole week, and none of it was interesting. And I have an appreciation for the fact that you need somebody to talk to and a space to do it, but that's what therapy is for. This is an open mic, bitch. Read your poem and sit your ass down. That's why I don't stay on people's like
Right.
lives very long because I'll log in and then somebody will get the mic and they just, I mean, they talking about this purple spot that appeared on their hip earlier in the week and how it looked like cauliflower, but they allergic to cauliflower and y'all too nice. I be seconds away down in the peanut gallery from typing release the motherfucking mic, bitch. Let these other people read.
Right.
Okay. Whatever.
Right.
Anyway, so I said I was going to read a poem because that's
Yes.
in alignment with not that. I don't
No.
know if the poem is good or not. I'm just going to read the poem. You can think
Right.
about it, feel about it however you want to feel,
All
but
right. Let's hear
whatever.
it.
But today, because our focus in like all of the conversation is about healing,
Hmm.
I had to go back and dig into my archive. I haven't read this in years. Actually, it probably four. Um, Here we go. Are you hearing static? No, from me?
No.
Okay, cool. Because my it's really loud in my headphones over here on my end, and it's driving me nuts. All right. I had to heal myself because my mother is never coming back from the grave to make atonement for the day she took me to my abuser's home without worry for my well-being because she didn't know she was doing damage. So I've managed to make myself a ventriloquist. To recover particle pieces of my innocence, I've learned to mimic her voice and give myself hugs with her arms to make my flesh feel like sun and tell my inner child she meant no harm. I had to heal myself, to shed the weight of the conversations that never made it to her lips and the explanation of the absence that whisked her away on extended guilt trips and left me living on an island. I've been trying to make sense of the shit and figure out what to do with it. And it finally hit me. I have to heal myself. I have to heal myself because the men who abandoned me will never stand trial. My fathers will never come home to make atonement for disowning me because the tone of my skin was too light. They will never tenderly tuck me in at night or assure me that the thief who would creep under my covers would never discover the last crumb of my innocence. So I had to heal myself. I had to heal myself because broken blood is never going to clot or stop my memory of the love that was not. My brother will never say he's sorry and mean it because love has never been a thing he knew how to do. He can never give back the smiles he stole or take back the dead things he planted inside me, growing into anxiety blossoms and sad seed. The dead things that wove themselves around everything I thought about, like poison ivy, winding through my words and my worth, because I was uncertain if I deserved protection rather than pain. He can never give me back the ability to trust again, or my willingness to accept safety anywhere in a world where I love you can also mean suck my dick. So the truth is this: none of that shit was my fault, and none of it defines me. None of it reflects my value, but that's the very thought that's been binding me. How could I have been the world's trash can that somehow grew up to be a valuable man? I had to heal myself because my mental health took a dive, waiting for everybody else to recognize that I was sinking, sitting around smoking my pain away, crying, dying, thinking all the worst shit because the hurt, it had me convinced I was a great big walking wound, and that was all I would ever be. I had to heal myself because sometimes I feel Baltimore in my bones. Remember the worst versions of me immersed in the perversions of pretending to be a nigga I'm not. And all that got me was flirtation with death in dual dimensions, not to mention men of God who like to lay hands, turning faith into fraudulent farce, a congested heart, failure to figure out that none of that shit was what God is really all about. I had to heal myself because they're never coming back to beg for forgiveness, which is bullshit, considering these niggas are supposed to be repentant. But when it became clear to me that I'm the only one terrorized by the fear in me, and the people who perpetrated crimes against my person are no longer even capable of hearing me, I finally learned the lesson. You have to heal yourself sometimes, because your pain will not always be a priority in anyone else's mind. That's it. Or as they say, I am complete.
That's that piece. Poem. Sorry.
I'm done.
Um,
That's my sign off. I'm done.
yeah, yeah.
um yeah, I came across that when I was trying to figure out something that I could share with y'all today, because the conversation is around healing, and I think it's important for us to give some meaning to these terms and figure out what that looks like,
Mhm.
um, how it can vary in appearance from person to person and moment to moment and day to day. So that's what we're going to get into. We got some special guests that are going to come up and join us in that conversation in just a moment. But we're going to first take a very quick commercial break. Then we'll be back.
Don't you worry about it, bitch. I know somebody like me. When I like it.
Bang.
When I like it.
And another thing my lawyer want me to say before I relinquish this microphone, you don't become a better writer or a better poet by everybody liking your stuff.
Right.
You become a better writer by being able to take the criticism, honest criticism. If it ain't good, it ain't good. And figure out, okay, this is the challenge. Let me take the challenge and try to figure out, how do I do this? How do I improve what I'm just saying, to being sensitive. I know we all like to quote, we love to quote Erica Badu. You know, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. But as long as you sensitive, you ain't gonna be able to grow. Mm, I mean, anyway.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, so listen, it's time for Soul Speak. I have some very, very good guests with us today. I want to let them introduce themselves in a moment. Both are friends of mine and fraternity brothers whom I have known for I don't even know how many years. And to be honest with you, as I was sitting over the last couple of days trying to think through, like, when was it? When was the first time that we met? I can't remember, but I do know that I love both of these brothers very dearly. Amazing people, kind, empathetic, informed, educated, enlightened Black men. Okay, all right. And part of the reason I wanted them to be here is because one of them, Alfonso, is a psychotherapist, and because both of them, Alfonso and Gabriel, have recently left America, moved to Côte d'Azur, Cannes, France. Well, they didn't move there to Côte d'Azur. That is where they are located today as they're joining us. And so I want to also get into like the mental health implications of all of that, what it's like to be Black and abroad, and certainly in this era in which we're having to deal with all the madness and craziness that we are under here in America. Ram, you missing some of it because you're Toronto.
I'm a neighbor, but I
You're
still
a
see
neighbor.
it.
You're very, very invested. So, ladies, gentlemen, and ladies, and everybody in between, and non-binary babies, and all of that stuff, would you help me to welcome my special guest, Alfonso Holmes and Gabriel Armsted? I can't get my applaud. Oh, hey, there we go. Where they at? Yeah, I think he's
Can you
still
hear
trying
me?
to figure out how to work that. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Is your camera not
Okay.
working?
No, and can you turn it on for me?
Oh,
If possible.
I don't know if I can or not. Let me see. Let's see. Camera.
Because it's kind of hidden. The button is hidden. Oh, hold on. There we go.
Let me see. Wait, are you showing now? Okay.
I don't see myself, but it says camera.
I can't see you, and it doesn't allow me. Only thing I can do is to move you into the studio so that
Hold on.
you can be here with us.
Let me see.
You don't see the a button
Oh,
down
I
there?
see it now. I got it. I got
Okay.
it. There we go. Perfect. All right,
Okay.
slide over.
Wait, let me put us on the side and you on the big,
All right, there we
and
go.
there. Now everybody's in.
Perfect.
Welcome, brothers.
Well,
Welcome.
well,
Not much, not much, not much. How are you doing? What time is it where you are?
like 4, almost 5. Almost 5 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, I had to go get my tongue together at Côte d'Azur, Cannes, France. I canceled my Duolingo subscription some months ago, but I did keep that other app, and I just have not been practicing because I really want to learn French. So I'm really jealous of the fact that y'all get to be there and wake up there every day. And I low key don't like you because of it, but nevertheless, nevertheless, you are here, and you moved from where?
Houston, Texas.
From Houston. Oh yeah, down there in Houston where it's too damn hot. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, yes. Yes,
let me back up a bit. I have your bio, Al, but because so much of it is related to like my first question, what my first question was going to be, I just felt like let
Okay.
me just you introduce yourself and tell people what kind of work you do professionally, what's your specialization, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Hello everyone. Um, my name is Alfonso Holmes, as you know, obviously. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I moved to Texas, to Europe. I'm a licensed professional counselor supervisor in the state of Louisiana. I'm also a licensed professional counselor in the states of Texas and Minnesota. Recently, Minnesota. Um, I have worked. Oh my god, I have worked. I just realized I've been working in this field for a long time. I've worked in the field of psychology since 2010. I've been working in the field since 2014, right after graduate school, and I've been licensed since 2017. I've been operating private practice for almost a year, since 2018. Um, I've Being a black male therapist in this field is like um, being a unicorn. Like everybody wants you. Everybody wants to see you. You know, you're like a surprise. And so when people grab you, they want you to use you for what they feel like you need to be used for. And so my population, incidentally became me working with young black males or other men or other black men specifically. So that's kind of been my work um, since the beginning of everything. That's been my work. I work with kids, I work with families, I work with people with addictive disorders. Um, and now in my private practice, I mainly focus on people of color, indigenous, black specifically, but my focus, larger focus is on men and people of the queer community.
Mhm.
So right now, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot going on uh, in the States. And so a lot of people are definitely seeking help because they only could do so much,
Mhm.
especially when you speak about Black people of color, and specifically um, men, Black men, and queer men as well, right? Because of all of the law changes and, fear of doing those things. Um, but yeah, I've been I've been around around the circle of counseling and therapy. So hope that answers your question.
It does. I was
Okay.
thinking as you when you mentioned that you were from New Orleans, and I said earlier I don't remember when we first met, but I do remember that when we first met, your New Orleans accent was so thick that I've laughed at you before because there were days when we would be on the phone and you'd be talking to me and I'd be like, "What the hell did he just say?" Like, but I didn't want to say nothing, like because I didn't know there was a New Orleans accent at the time. It's like, oh, this is a thing. I don't know what
It
the
is.
hell he just said.
It is. It's real. It is. It's very real. It's very real. And the crazy thing is about you saying that is that honestly, well, if I was around my friends from New Orleans, like, or from around other people would see that we all have different
Mhm,
accents depending on the parts of the city that we're
mhm,
from.
mhm,
So, like, people who aren't from Louisiana or those areas, they'll say, "I have a thick accent," but I really don't compared to everybody else. And
mhm.
other people will tell you that. They'll be like, "No, he don't sound like he's from New Orleans, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "But I am."
Yeah, well, it was thick. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
Gabe, breathe, brother, breathe. Get yourself together. Breathe, okay? Introduce yourself.
All
Tell us
right.
who you are because I know you are equally a man of letters and enlightenment. And
Yes.
listen, let me just tell y'all before you introduce yourself, don't get into arguments with this man on TikTok and Twitter because you, I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you from getting cussed out in an intelligent way. Yes. But go ahead, Gabe.
Okay. So I am from Houston, Texas. Gabriel Armsted from Houston, Texas. I am a graduate of the Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. I am also a Navy vet. I am also a graduate of the University of Southern California, where I obtained my degree as a MSW, so that's a Master's in Social Work, and I
Mm,
also obtained my degree from the Price School of Public Policy in International Public Policy and Planning.
mm,
So these days, I am more so a consultant, right? So I consult more so with the mental health people.
mm,
Um, there's a collective that I'm with where there are like people in like Michigan,
mm,
Colorado, and other Black professionals around the country where we basically get together at least once a month and we talk about those issues that they experience in mental health.
mm,
For me, I'm more so like into the policy implications. More so than the mental health part, is the policy implications before they actually meet the public. That's the
mm.
stuff that I usually get into. Um, I do intellectually go after people intellectually, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you so much for that.
Yes,
Because
yeah, I wouldn't accuse
yeah,
you of just being ratchet and just cussing people out for no reason. And it's usually
thank you, sir.
it's it's usually the pink people that are getting it, but
Yes,
those are
yes,
usually the
yes.
ones who come into the comment section, say something off that they had no business saying that was uninformed, and all of them degrees that you just
They
mentioned up in
start
here,
working.
they
They
start
start
working.
working.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I've looked at those comments sometimes and now why did you do that to yourself? Why would you do that? You you walked right in here like you belong here and just started saying a bunch of anyway. So listen, so so we're here in this. I consider this podcast to be really a healing circle among friends,
Mhm,
and since it is that, and we are talking about diving into healing and mental matters of mental health. I thought it's first and foremost important to really operationalize the term healed and terms healed and healing, because
mhm,
people we a lot of this, and Al, you, I don't know whether you will agree, but I feel like in watching social media, mental health content has become the cash cow, and everybody they know, like, if you really want to create content and make some money on social media, start talking about mental health stuff. You don't have to really be living it or have experienced it. People will follow those accounts. Hey, Cheyenne. And you know hey girl, yeah, I see you with your fake life. Anyway, so people will follow those accounts, and so it's become popular. Every now and then we go through these cycles where certain things become buzzwords. Like for a while, the one that I really got sick of was hearing people who can't even spell the word constantly throwing out the word narcissist. Spell it, bitch. How many C's and how many S's is in that word? Spell it, bitch. My mama was a narcissist. No, no, you just, you know, you're a problem. And the sooner you recognize that you're the problem, the better off all your relationships will be, because it can't be everybody, bitch. It's got to be you at some point. But
exactly.
narcissists. We throw these terms around. When I looked it up, I think it was only like 1 to 6% of the population is actually clinically diagnosable as a narcissistic personality disorder. So y'all
Mhm,
got to find some other word, because you ain't using the word right, and it gets on my nerves. But anyway,
mhm,
healing and like my healing journey, this has become another sort of niche area of online
mhm,
conversations. And I think sometimes when everybody means something different when they say that, right? Some people mean healing in terms of, well, feeling better, but feeling better in the moment does not necessarily mean that you've resolved anything, that anything has changed. It's temporal, right? So the first thing that I wanted to sort of put on the floor for all of us, and we'll start with Ram, because you're my co-host today. But my first question was really like, what does it mean to be healed to you? And healing or healed, either way, we can sort of operationalize those and work our way around to back up to Al, since you are our professional. um Ram, you go, then I'll go, then Gabe, you got it, then Al, you got it. Let's go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What's up, guys?
Mhm.
What's up?
Yeah. So for me, with all the work that I've done, I think healed doesn't necessarily mean fixed. Um, um, it means I'm no longer flinching when someone like touches that scar. You know, like it doesn't really hurt like that. It means the memory is still there, it still lives there, but it's no longer steering the ship,
Mhm.
right? That's kind of where I'm at. The real world, you said what, how does it define what real world experience looks like? It looks like being triggered and choosing differently. um Choosing to act differently. Actually being saying, okay, I'm not okay today, and I'm okay with that. Um, Healing is, and I always say, healing is not a destination; it's a journey. Um, that's kind of where I'm at right now. In the real world, listen, I get triggered a lot. I mean, if you guys were here about the poetry thing, I'm kind of like a poetry nerd. Like it happens. Certain things trigger me, and then you realize back then, like I was I grew up in Jamaica, right? I grew up
Mhm.
in Jamaica. I grew up in a British Commonwealth system in school. We grew up with, like, you used to get flogged in school. Things need to be perfect. Penmanship needed to perfect. Speech needed to be perfect. Imagine us as a Jamaican having to completely strip apart our dialogue and speak the Queen's English. And that's kind of where the basis of this snob came about. But a lot of those things is the perfection needed to be perfect, needed to be perfect, needed to be perfect. That was always in my mind. I can't, like, A's were, it had to be A's, B's were not. It's very similar to the African upbringing. You need to be a doctor, you need to be an engineer, you need to be a lawyer. I'm none of those things actually right now. I'm in marketing. So those are some of the things that, so for what healed me is like being able to say, hey, perfection is a disease. um it doesn't exist. And being okay with that, and being able to sit with all that, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's my long short answer.
Totally fine, totally fine. Like, as we're talking, because I want us to feel free also to ask questions, to push back, to disagree with one another,
Yeah.
all of that. So I'm personally taking notes on things that I want to circle back to.
Hmm.
And from what you said, one, we don't have to do it right now. We can come back to it later. But the notion of not flinching,
Hmm.
and then your mention of colonialism also made me wonder whether or not, and I don't know what the consensus on this will be, but whether or not there are some wounds, such as colonialism and the history of slavery, those things that become through epigenetics a part of our blood, are those things that we cannot heal.
Mm.
We'll come back to that. Let's leave that on the table. Let's leave that on the table. I'll give you. I wrote mine out because I know my memory is what it is. But I put healing is a series of consistently intentional decisions to walk in alignment with the regulatory needs of your nervous, emotional, and spiritual systems. Because I do believe we have a spiritual system in order to achieve stability, inner harmony, which gives rise to external harmony through one's ability to manifest their empowered inner world in their external environment, and bringing those things to neurological and psychological resolution. The word healed describes the achievement of innumerable experiences of resolution and regulation and growth in your neurological, psychological, emotional, spiritual, and physiological being. Healed is not a singular event. It is a tiered and spectrum bound repeat process one chooses to walk in, whereas healing is the gestational process that births our aligned and harmonious best self, the stable emergence of that self in thought, in action, in choice. That is the baby. Healing is the process of being pregnant with the baby, but the emergence of the aligned, harmonious best self and the stable emergence of that self in thought, action, and choice, that's the baby. It is a process of rebirth. That's what I got.
All right.
Hmm. Hmm. I try to use this degree because it ain't gonna benefit me no other way. They
Just
pay me.
write that essay.
They listen. They pay me like I'm picking field peas, and Anyway, so if I can't pay the bills with it, I might as well look smart with the shit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Bitch, I got
Right.
degrees. Anyway,
Right.
so Gabe, you're up. What's up?
Okay, so for me, I'll take it from just the application of what the word is, and I'll say what healing is to me. I experienced a lot of trauma growing up, right? I experienced death and loss, bereavement. I also experienced rape and abuse. I experienced teasing and a lot of those things. And what I could honestly say about those experiences is that the 39 version of myself, almost 40 version of myself, has had to heal at every phase of my life.
Mm.
So I look at healing through the life cycle, right? So when we talk about a healing journey, it kind of connects it as okay, I have my 20s, I have my 30s, I have my 40s, I'm stepping into my senior years. And can I look back on those decades or those milestones and have I healed from what happened to me, right? So my relationship with bereavement and grief has gotten better.
Mm.
My relationship with having a thicker skin when it comes to words has gotten better. I can look back on versions of myself and I see where I've evolved. But I can also look back on versions of myself and see where I have work that is still there to do,
With that.
right? So healing means it doesn't mean avoiding, it doesn't mean a stiff upper lip. It's basically being completely honest with yourself. And there is no timeline on that. I just want to make that very clear. Erica Badu said it best when she said that time is for white people. You do not heal within a certain amount of time. It is how you address what is aggravating and irritating you and what is pushing you into that place of not being healed. The longer you sit on the thing that hurts you, is the longer you have to deal with what is hurting you.
Mm.
And that's how I'll leave it for that.
Clutch the pearls. Times for white people.
It is. It really is.
You're muted, Tariq.
No, shut up. I'm gonna get this shit sooner or later. That's a 39. You just a baby. Yeah.
No,
Um.
I know. I know.
mm,
But 40's
Okay.
on the way.
Okay.
Man, so.
Okay. Al, you are the expert, the resident expert. What you got? Having heard all of that.
I'm glad you. I, I like to look at myself when I think about healing or being healed. Um, I'm a recovering people pleaser,
Mm.
and a lot of it is stemmed through hurt, pain, trauma, not watching, how can I say, poor emotional communication, emotional regulation, not just within my home, but also within my community.
Mhm.
And so a lot of that is like, being a child is like, okay, like what's going on? And like I'm gonna shut up because I don't want to be what I see is going on. So I'm staying in the
Mhm.
background.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
A lot of my own personal healing is understanding a couple of things. Understanding how to balance out my yeses and my nos is one. Another one is um, learning when to ask questions instead of assuming. Right, that's a continuous work in progress. Um, and lastly, understanding my value, the value of my
Mhm.
own voice. Right, and so I use those as an example because I want people to understand that healing is not linear. Right, it's
Mhm.
very
Mhm.
complex. It's a very, very complex process. And a lot of people like to use this I'm gonna say idea that, oh, I'm more healed than this other person. It's not that we are or some people are better than others. No, it's that some people are willing to do the work more than
Mm,
others. Right?
Mhm.
When you go to the gym, you can see who's working out more than somebody else. And that's not
Mhm.
just about physical, that's just about technique, form, all
mhm,
those things. You can see that they've been doing it for a while versus the person who's just started maybe a year ago, a day ago, a
Mhm.
month. So we
Mhm.
see the differences. So healing is very complex. And I can say I'm healed from one thing, but it doesn't mean I'm exempt from being triggered by something that reminds me of that same thing.
mhm,
Because we have so much to
Mhm.
break down. You really said it well because this is kind of my own default is that when I come into practice, I say I look at things holistically, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually,
mhm,
right? And definitely from a very term from like I'm more so of a my specifics are more so dealing with like coming from the bottom to the top work instead of the top to the bottom work.
mhm,
Top
Mhm.
work to bottom work would be like cognitive behavioral therapy, rationalizing things, rational emotive behavioral therapy, and things like that. Whereas the bottom to top part is like dealing with the somatic part of yourself, how
Mhm.
your body feel, the mindfulness, right?
Mhm.
I'm a level one brain spotting clinician. So that's kind of like where you look is where you heal. So when people talk about certain things, traumas, hurts, whatever they may be, there's points in their brain that where they're either seeing it or not seeing it or refusing to see what they may or may not remember and feel in their bodies. And that's very important for black and brown bodies
mhm,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
ancestrally that's how we heal. People be like, what people were doing in Africa? Like, what they had no therapy? Yes, the hell they did.
Mhm.
They moved their bodies. They knew how to sit in silence, right? So I think about healing in that understanding is that it's not linear. Everyone is going to have their moment. Some people will heal something in 5 years versus somebody not healing something until 10 years later. And sometimes it's like that's just your process
That's just bro.
because sometimes it's so hard. It really is. I tell people all the time, this is hard work. Yeah. I mean, I hope you're willing to do it, but even if you're not, that's okay as long as you tried.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I one of my daily mantras that I try to carry with me is that pain is a pregnant predicament.
Mm,
And to eschew the pain is to miss the productive possibility. You're not like there's no such thing as well, I mean epidural, but I mean even in that women still endure a certain amount of, I would imagine, because I don't have a womb. I don't know much about the vagines, but um I don't, I'm not a gold star, but anyway, um um birth always is always preceded by pain, and life
Mm.
is always preceded by death. And if you are afraid of being uncomfortable, you cannot obtain healing, right? You can't produce, you can't go through that process, that metamorphosis of rebirth, right? Um, and in hearing you talk about about blackness and ancestral pain, I find that, like, to be black in, well, James Baldwin put it that to be black in America and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage all the time.
Um,
I think to be black in America is to be in a constant defensive position against violence and dehumanization. And so when we talk about the continuity of healing and what it requires, there must be some acknowledgement of the fact, if you are a black or brown person, that every morning when you get up and put your shoes on and walk outside your door and step off your front porch, or maybe even in your own house these days,
Mm.
I'm not saying that you are a victim of anything, but every day when you walk out of the house and you go out into this American world, you are presenting yourself for the wounding, and it's waiting for you, and it's ready, and the wounds, they don't stop, so the healing can't stop, right? Right, we
right.
can't fool ourselves into believing that we've gotten reached this place where everything is now in a condition of stasis and we don't have anything else to work on. Al, you mentioned earlier about specifically working with black men, and I'm wondering if that was like one of the motivating factors that really led you into pursuing this field of study, um, and why? Like, what were you seeing or experiencing that made you aware of the urgency of that need for black men? And then
Mhm.
within that, what kinds of things are you seeing black men who are coming to you for services experiencing? Like, what should we be on the lookout for if we're considering, our brothers who are around us every day, that we don't know what's going on with them because people don't talk?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I I tell people all the time, like, coming. I didn't. I literally chose this field, like, how that year, like, what are you going to college for? What are you going to school for? And you want to do this one thing, but then you're not sure about it. Um, but then you're kind of like destined and fall into a different path. Um, I always wonder why the people around me were the people around me. And that's not even coming from like an ego standpoint of like feeling that I'm better, but um I see what people go through, but they don't always see what they're going through.
Mm.
And I always found myself, I think because I was so reserved and quiet, people would just talk to me. Um, but there are very few people who actually listen. And so I discovered that growing up. Um, I experienced loss as well. I had a sister um, who she overdosed from drugs. Did not know she was on drugs. Did not know, right? Um, and during that time, after her passing, um, my nephew, who's our only son, my mom was caring for him even before his mother passed away. But um, we were he was presented because I mean he didn't. I think he had like a was it Medicaid, and the only therapist they could find was a white woman who, and this is no dig on her because she actually helped me. Um, but there were things that I realized that she didn't realize, that she didn't see. I was like, "Does she not know that? Like, you're black." Like, there are some
Hmm.
things that you don't understand.
Hmm.
You say our names wrong, you know, you assume that I know a certain word at the grade level that I'm in.
Mhm.
And so I felt all of that, and I was like, and me not having a voice, I didn't really know how to really speak up for myself about
Ooh.
that.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So, I knew then that I was like, this is weird. Like this, it helped me. And then the only thing she wasn't my sole ongoing therapist. She was more my nephews and my mother's, but we would do like family sessions or maybe one session. I only had one session where and I did like a letter to my sister. It helped. Um,
Mhm.
for what helped. And so in high school, I was like, I always knew I wanted to help people. Like I said, I just felt like people needed help. I was like, I like helping people. And I wanted to be a pharmacist. And one of the things that one of my classmates said, she was like, yeah, my sister is going and she's going through this and this and that and that other thing. And then I realized that my chemistry grade in high school wasn't so great. I was like, that can't be
Mhm.
for me. And so they introduced psychology as a elective in my high school. I didn't take the class because I was like close to the end of everything. But one of my friends did. She talked to me about it, and I was like, okay, cool. And I started looking more into psychology, and then kind of went from there.
Mhm.
But the more I went into that understanding is that I didn't. That's when I discovered like there were not many black and brown therapists
Mhm.
that were like available, and the ones that were available, I mean, that were dead present, of course, you can imagine how booked up they were. And most of them had like
Mhm.
jobs that they were just kind of like, how can I explain it? With like a lot of social workers were like, just kind of like, and I hate to say it like this, but they were just literally, uh, what's it called? Children's Protective Services,
Mm,
Mhm.
CPS.
Mhm.
They were
Mhm.
literally taking out the trash. And I just thought that was terrible.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I knew that I had a calling, so to speak, and I stuck with it. Once I started learning about it, I fell in love. To be honest,
Mhm.
I really did. I was always curious about people in the minds of others.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
I
One of the Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, I have a question.
Mhm.
You ever walked into a session, or walked out of a session because a client's pain mirrors yours too closely?
Mm.
transference, countertransference.
I I can't say I walked out of it
Mhm.
like well after the
Or
session.
or
Yes,
yes,
yeah,
got you. Yeah.
yes, absolutely, yes,
Mhm.
absolutely, and it's not easy.
Mm.
I will tell
Mhm.
you that. This is why I'm always a proponent of uh, therapists having therapists. Um, I'm
Yeah.
always a big proponent of that, or even at least have done some of their own work. And that's
Mhm.
just my personal, you know, thing. I generally think that everyone should be in therapy, but but the thing is that that's heavy work.
Mhm.
Um, and to be triggered sometimes
Yeah.
by certain
Yeah.
things. Hopefully, I feel like the divine is like, okay, we're gonna show you this mirror real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
This is how you gonna see it. How you gonna deal with it? That's stuff that you ain't been working on. So what you gonna do,
What you
right?
gonna do? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm then being met with, well, damn, do I need to take my own advice?
Listen,
It's my own work.
and I'm probably gonna sound horrible for saying this, but quite honestly, when I'm shopping for a therapist, because finding a therapist is kind of like dating. You sometimes
Yes.
you gotta kiss a lot of hogs to get a whatever. Uh, I'm looking to see if if you ain't in the room with me, what you doing in the room with me. Like when I talked about this a little bit last week when I found my current therapist. It was at a time when I was in crisis, severely
Mhm.
depressed, not knowing what was going on after a long period of grief and depression and all these things. But I knew like I got to get help really fast. So I go to Psychology Today. I email her and explain what's what. She emails me back, and we set up a 15-minute consultation to, talk real quick and see if it's a match, like speed dating. And when we talked, I said, hey, listen, let me just tell you, I've been in and out of therapy for years. I'm not looking for another person to take me through cognitive behavioral therapy, all that CBT stuff. And she responded and she said, oh, I don't use that for us. I said, oh yeah. She said, yeah, I don't really think that it addresses the issues of people of color in the way that some people do. So I really don't use that. I was like, bingo, you the one, girl, you the one. From the very first session, when I got in there and had to start telling my life story from the beginning, the moment I broke down and started crying, she was crying. And from then on, I said, we go together real bad, girl. You can never leave me. And I've told her, if you leave me, I will stalk you. Because she's always right there in the session with me. And I know that. And so I feel comfortable and feel safe. I know this person is not just jotting down notes in mind somewhere else. Like so you got to be willing to engage with the process. The other thing, Al, you mentioned about somatic therapy, and a lot of people are not aware that, like, when we say finding a therapist, it doesn't mean that you just go find a general psychotherapist and then all of your issues are going to be addressed by that person, because some people will have certain specializations. My therapist told me, I don't really know religious trauma like that, but I can recommend somebody who does. At one point during the sessions, as we were revisiting childhood stuff and, molestation and all that, she's like, you should also see a sex therapist. So I was seeing 2 therapists every week for a while. Then it was, let's also consider a somatic therapist. Like, let's talk about what's in your body. So it's going to require a number of different approaches. It's like therapy is the intention. I mean, not therapy. Healing is the intentional end of the work that you do with tools. And you got to figure out what the right tools are to get the work done.
Yes.
You were talking earlier, well, something that you said made me think about the difference between what we consider to be healers or people who are solidly therapists or people who are solidly in the medical field within that realm because they have done the study, they have the degrees, versus people that we consider to be healers, because you also, I think, mentioned like other modalities, which are more so along the lines of like spiritual traditions. And may not necessarily be things that the academy legitimizes and thinks about as legitimate, right? But they still matter. And in the day of Cheyenne Bryant, Al, do degrees matter? Is I'm messy? I don't know that lady. I don't know that lady. I don't care about her feelings today. Because and I think you and I have had this conversation, because I was always conflicted in how I felt about Iyanla, because I watched that show and I was like, now, if there wasn't no security in them cameras, them people would have been there, whooped your ass. You just sat there and called that lady a gutter snipe.
And her son.
And you think that she wouldn't have hit you if all these other people. But Iyanla, though she has the training, she has some degrees, but she's also operating in a different spiritual tradition that is rooted in our culture, which calls for brutal honesty in some cases. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Could it not be you?
It couldn't. I would have been dragged that lady by her finger wave. Right on out the office. Dragged her right up to the door and then got in my car. I said, now call the people. But anyway, healers versus, you get what I'm saying. You get the question I'm asking, Al. What you got? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's been mostly about people's integrity, right? I'll borrow a phrase from Iyanla, call a thing, right? And
Beloved.
Beloved, fall up in here. Okay.
Speaking to the home. Okay.
Stop it.
Okay.
I don't
Um,
understand. You don't have to understand it. Speaking to the whole. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. My
but
ADHD
it's
man
about
got me. What? Go ahead.
it's about professional integrity. So I mean, when we talk about like Cheyenne and everything that she's experiencing, and that goes back to what I said earlier about people doing their own work. Um, and because the reality is that you just can't be lying to people.
Right.
Like be truthful about what you have
Mm-hmm.
and who you are. Now, I mean, there was a woman that came out that was her classmate and said that she did not complete her degree. She said that. She said I was there. She didn't do it. She wasn't about it, and that's okay because that's what you choose to do. But I think when you talk about the glamorization of social media, you know,
Mm-hmm.
TV, reality TV, it's what the people want.
Mm-hmm.
They want it gives them the ratings. It gives them the it gives them what they need. You know, and truthfully, young. I mean, there were episodes where Young was like, "Oh no, that mm-mm. No, I
Mm-hmm.
can't. No, I can't do that."
Mm-hmm.
That requires some deeper work that
Mm.
I can't provide. You need to talk to a therapist. I respect her for saying that. You wanna say something?
Yeah, I was going to hit on that. So it's interesting you bring up Cheyenne, and it's interesting that I'm not calling her a doctor because it's interesting you bring up the two of them because when you look at Iyala, she actually tried to study under Iyala. Um, and the thing that I'll say about Iyala Van Zandt is Iyala does not have a professional degree in mental health. What she is a life coach. That is its
Mm-hmm.
own separate path that is really like coaching someone along life. If you could
Mm-hmm.
tell, like I'm a child of Obatala, she's a child of Obatala when it comes to Ifa. So she incorporates a lot of those healing modalities. I think it was the last episode of Fix My Life when you watch it you could see where she added those spiritual elements to the house. She talks about why she used
Mm-hmm.
sage, why she does what she does, and how those are like natural ways of healing. I think what gets to me about Dr. Cheyenne, this is just me personally, is that not just the fact that you attended one program, you're saying you have multiple doctoral degrees. And what ends up happening is you have spoken to multiple Black men, specifically Black men that are in the space of sports entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And you have done some very dangerous things. And I think my first introduction to her was her doing reality TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, what she did, a lot of people accused her of pretty privilege, and I think that's exactly what she did. You used pretty privilege so that you could get into people's homes, you could get a name for yourself and everything like that. But we don't talk about the psychological damage of your homespun advice, what
Mm-hmm.
that does when people just digest it from a social media standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
That's my little
Mm-hmm.
piece on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain liberties you can take that are dangerous, right? Like as a licensed professional with
Mhm.
a regulatory board over you, you have to in therapy call it anxious attachment syndrome. But when you run of the mill, you know, then you just call a bitch, like it is what it is.
That's right.
you know,
That's
and
right.
you could get away with it.
And that's what she
So,
did. And that's what she did.
yeah. Yeah. I what bothers me in that situation is the way our people refuse. We love an underdog.
Mm,
We love a popular underdog, and we love to jump to saying, "Oh, y'all just tearing this person down because they got to be too big and this, that, and the other." No, 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 no. Wrong is wrong. Right is right.
Mhm.
And when you are putting yourself in the position, you're platforming yourself to be able to do damage by giving out uninformed takes, like this whole thing about gentle parenting. that exposed all of our homophobia and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Uninformed takes that are in turn causing long-term consequences for people. You know what I mean? Like you anyway. Um I said earlier that healing is the intention at the end of your use of the tools, right? And your selection of the right tools. And so I'm curious to know from all of you, in this moment, with whatever it is that you're working on healing in your life at this time, what are your go-to tools? I'm finding for myself, um, one of them has been silence, embracing silence more, because since getting a diagnosis for adult ADHD, there was a day when I was in the car, and I noticed over time that when I drive, I got a 2-hour commute to work, so I'm blasting music the whole way, but I was turning that radio all the way up, and it just seemed to never get loud enough for me, to the point that
Mm.
I'm downloading volume booster apps on my phone so I can get the phone volume to go louder and the volume to come out of the speakers louder. And then one day I was like, "Bitch, why do you need this music so loud? You know you 51 now, right? Like you're like your ears, maybe you're losing some of your hearing." But when I started researching and understanding ADHD and the connections to like dopamine, right?
Mm.
I also found out that the level and the volume of the music triggers the production and the release of chemicals, and sometimes we crank the music up because we're trying to regulate. We're trying to
Mhm.
get enough of that released in our system so that we can feel what the way that we want to feel. Especially with songs that we know, like Mary J, and you know when the emotional part of the song is coming up, and Mary going,
Yeah.
all of that. After Mary gets said too long, too strong for too long, and she goes, all of that, right?
Yeah.
You know it's coming. Your body starts ramping up in
Yeah.
anticipation of that moment coming. And I was
Yes.
like, fuck, this is what I've been doing to myself. And I didn't even understand why I was doing it. I just was like, well, I like the way it feels in my body. I need to feel the bass in my body.
Mhm.
But
Mm.
then that moment said, no, turn that shit down and just
Mhm.
listen. Turn the volume down
Listen.
to where you can just hear the music and listen to it like that for a while and see how you feel. And anxiety levels all the
Yeah.
way down.
Yeah.
But it was a process of discovery. So that's one thing that I'm personally doing. What are your go-to tools in this season of your healing journeys in your lives?
I, I'll go. So for me, it's more so understanding. So you talk about your diagnosis with ADHD. I'll talk about my diagnosis with PTSD and complex PTSD. With me, when I got my
Mhm,
diagnosis, I did not take it seriously. So let's just add to
mhm,
that. I don't think I said I was a Navy vet or anything like that, but I'm a veteran of the Navy as well. So
mhm,
that is where the military first found instances of PTSD. Like I clocked immediately because of how I served.
mhm,
But what was not in the way that they clocked me was all the trauma I experienced prior to enlisting in the US Navy. And
mhm,
so for me, I had to understand something very real. I had a very loud childhood. So
mhm,
I don't seek the noise, I seek the silence, right?
mhm, mhm,
And a part of not just taking the medication that is good for balancing out, because I did all the mental work, right? I did all the therapy and I went to the therapist and we talked about, traumatic events and I resolved it. What a lot of people don't know, there's a book called The Body Keeps Count.
Mhm.
So it
score.
doesn't matter. Yet the body keeps scoring, right? So your body, regardless of how you may have mentally healed from it, it is in your
Mhm,
neurological system. It is
mhm,
epigenetically there. And for me, it's now waking up and listening to a 420, a 425 or a 525 frequency in the morning when I wake up, just so that I'm balancing and settling my nervous system. It's
Mhm.
likely burning a candle and meditating on that flame. It is now that we are in the south of France, the Côte d'Azur, right? It's going to the beach and it's allowing myself to hear those waves crash on the shore.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
allowing
Mhm.
the sun to basically warm me up and warm up my system. It's thinking about my circadian rhythm. It is understanding that when you talk about epigenetic stress, that we are replaying ancestral stress all the time because it's passed down to us through the birth canal when our mothers birth us. All the stress that and all that ancestral memory is coming into that child
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
of what was going on. So I think about the mothers who are either house slaves or mothers who are field slaves and what they experienced and what they passed into those ancestors that passed into me. So it's somatic, it's healing, it's a salt bath, right? It's basically seeking what my body is not used to and enjoying it and learning to enjoy that is what is unfamiliar to me.
Mhm. Mhm. And it
Yeah.
sounds like listening to your body, like listening
Yes.
to, because a lot of times I think we experience certain things and our body is in these states, right? And we just accept that this is the state. Well, no, there's a response for that state. Like there can be a response for that state. You need to choose to do something with that. I love that. All of the,
Yes.
like, you have an array of tools that you are aware of. Um, I love that. I try to, in my journal prompt every day, like, one of the things, the questions is, how are you going to intentionally practice an act of healing today? Like every day, something, you know. All right,
Mm.
who am
My bad. Let me do it one more thing. It just hit me. I can't let it go. So we're also surrounded by a lot of lavender. And so we're in Provence, right? So we're surrounded by
Mhm,
lavender. Lavender
mhm.
has its healing benefits and its healing frequencies, right? You
Rosemary.
rosemary as well. We're surrounded by all the herbs. Use them.
Mhm,
So they do something for you. It's I'm probably jumping the gun, but when you're in Europe, you will find so many medicinal plants around you that you could just walk up on, just feel some lavender, feel some rosemary, smell it, snap off a sprig, smell it. It's good for
mhm,
brain
mhm,
health. It's good for calming. I'm done.
mhm, mhm. We got weed here.
Yeah.
We don't have rosemary fields, but
They got it in Portugal and they got it
we
in the
got
Netherlands. What they doing?
vape shops and Delta 9 and THCA and Delta 8. I don't know. I'm saved. So sanctify Holy Ghost filled that with a mighty burning fire, with the evidence of speaking in tongues.
That's right.
So I
That's
don't,
right. That's right.
I don't, I don't know about those things, but I know I ain't seen no rosemary fields and no lavender fields around here. That's what I'm saying. But it's cute for y'all. Whatever. It's cute for you. We got
Look,
Oh
weed.
walk
man.
through Home Depot, walk through Lowe's, just get it.
Let me hear for the rest so we can come to Europe, because I want to circle around and end on the experience of that migration.
Uh,
Al, you didn't speak, and Ram, you didn't go. Okay, go.
Oh,
Oh, current
sorry,
modalities,
who? Uh,
tools. You go. Al is always last.
I do I do that I think I have that that page purge um thing that I do. Um
Mhm,
like, I try to do it nightly, 3 pages of just purging
mhm,
as a writer. Spelling errors, my patois, whatever, my language, doesn't matter, rage, repetition, just purge and then let it be. I don't
mhm.
necessarily have to go back to it. I don't care. I mean, it's there because sometimes I need ammunition to write about, but I don't necessarily have to go back to it. I just let it there. It's like getting the poison out of the body before bed. Um,
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
and it's usually before bed. I'm realizing that's the repetition. It's like a constant looping before bed. Yeah.
No, that's important. This is why. So my other modality is I stop answering my phone after 7 p.m. and before 9 a.m. because I don't need you fucking up my night before I lay down to rest. and I don't want you doing it first thing in the morning either.
That's right.
Besides, why am I answering the phone for people that don't answer the phone for me when I call? Nevertheless, Al, what you got?
Um,
Anyway.
so
Hmm.
when I was one of the modalities I use, mindfulness-based stress reduction. It has more so of an informal kind of Buddha practice.
Mhm.
And so like so what helps me mostly, you know, as much as I would, I can definitely write a journal, and I'm always pushing people to write in journals. But for me, it's so physical for me. If I'm feeling anxious, I'm literally breathing through my body. Like
Mhm.
I feel it melting off of me. I breathe through my body. Um, my way of expression is because, and I think this is bias is now I'm saying it because I didn't have a voice for so long. I speak out, like
Mhm.
I say what's on my mind, with no one there, even
Mhm.
right. I have the conversations with the DNA, be it my ancestors, right. I
Mhm.
had that conversation. I talk about those things that I'm feeling, and I can literally feel the shift
Mhm.
within myself. Right. So the thing is that it's kind of like acknowledging and being mindful. Like I look at the beautiful things like damage in the lavender and things like that. I do those things for myself. I notice how I'm walking or things like that. So I do a lot of mindfulness based
Mhm.
things for myself because for me, it's like feeling it and like that slow down and knowing what it is that's actually going on up here, but it's mostly
Mhm.
here. Right, it's mostly in my body. So that's kind of more of so the practice that I go to immediately, um, versus, you know, journaling. I love again, I'm a person who loves journaling, but I found lately it's more so like I need to kinda deal with it
Mhm.
head on.
Mhm.
'Cause
Mhm.
I will talk myself out of pulling out that journal and actually writing.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
know I would. You know, it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it." Like, it feels too much
Physical.
work,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
When I can just do
Mhm.
it and get it. I just need it to be instant, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that is where I go to. And I think that's another thing something else I was trained in, for my own, you know, personal practice is Reiki. So I do Reiki on myself, every night before bed and
Mm.
things like that. So, but yeah, those are the things that I do.
We don't have time to explain that. For those of you who are listening who may not know what it is, it's Reiki. You can look Reiki up, and we'll circle back to that. Ascari was actually supposed to talk about Reiki today, but he
Mhm.
couldn't be here. And somebody over here in this here was telling me to tell you that you need to use what you have learned and start working on a Black men self-actualization journal.
Mm.
Start writing the prompts, leading them through to self-actualization. Do with it
Mhm.
what you want,
Yeah.
but
I'll take it.
mhm,
I
mhm.
receive it.
Let's pivot. Let's talk about this. The leaving. Oh gosh, I can't say what I want to say.
Hey, hey,
I
hey.
can't. I can't say. Let's talk about leaving Babylon.
Uh, Gotham City.
uh,
Gotham City. Gotham
mhm.
City.
And
The Gilded Age.
what brought this about? What was that process like? What has it been like since you've been away from?
Babylon.
I'm finding it. That's not what I want to say. It's not. um, talk to me, people. What you like? Because lots of us wants to get off the plantation, but
Mm.
Massa won't let us. He pay us too little, and we can't afford passports, and we scurry. But go ahead.
Part. Who want to go first? Okay, I guess I'll go. Okay, so for me, I had wanted to do this for a very long time, right?
Mhm,
So when I was in the services, I lived in Japan. So I had
mhm,
been all over like Japan, Southeast Asia, and everything, and I experienced a very different quality of life living in Japan than I did when I came back to the
Mhm.
States. Um, I came back to the States in 2013. Trump was elected in 2016. I could not leave because I was still in graduate school.
Mhm.
And I saw what happened under that first administration.
Mhm.
The second administration, before it even started, I had already became aware of Project 2025.
Mhm.
And when I started reading through the document, I said, this is very scary. And to be very clear with people, the Heritage Foundation had been putting up plans like Project 2025. They have been putting them up for years. Okay. The difference in those plans being put up is that there was never an alignment with the Supreme Court, the legislative branch, and who would be taking over the executive branch. Within the first 3 months of that administration, we already saw that he was implementing 25% of what Project 2025 was going to be. For
Mhm.
me, if we go back to when he was elected, I did not look at the results that night. I went to sleep that night and I said, when I wake up in the morning, I will know my decision.
You know what
Exactly.
it is.
I will know my decision. I woke up that morning. I had some Texas pecan coffee with a little splash of vanilla in it. And then I opened my phone and I thought that he won. And at that moment, I said, I'm not going to pay my car note the last 3 months of my lease. And I'm going to drive this car to the airport and I'm going to park it in the do not park zone. And I want you to take my car and I'm heading to Terminal D. Did it not happen?
Yes, it did.
I was already aware when I woke up the next morning that there's no more playing with this. I had a
Mhm.
classmate from SC that reached out to me and literally said, what made you leave? And I told her specifically, I have a line in a sand. They crossed my line.
Mm.
Crossing that line was, can I afford groceries? Can I afford this inferior GMO food that you are giving me? No, I can't afford it. Can I afford the fact that my lease is about to go up about $500 and it should not be going up $500? Y'all have not fixed nothing in the motherfucker. Why is it going up $500? Excuse my French.
Nope.
That wasn't French.
It wasn't. Was it? Can be. Can be.
I'm just trying to find out what trying to think what the French word for motherfucker is. But go ahead. Okay, go ahead. That's it. That's it.
So, so the reality of it is, just to put it really back into context, everything that Kamala Harris said, right? Everything she said, there was facts to everything that she stated. She was giving us a warning signal of what is going to happen. You are going to see your food rise. You are going to see the gas increase. You are going to see the fact that he is going to attack people from within. He calls the people the enemy within. These were her exact words. And you are looking at the fact that, okay, I'm watching ICE. There was a day in Houston where they rolled through and grabbed 500 people in one
Mhm.
day for ICE
Mhm.
detention. And you're seeing our communities literally collapse. You saw the police infrastructure in Texas become extremely aggressive because Texas was responding to what was going on in California against us before they had even gotten there. So for me, it was a non-starter. I was like, yo, I'm out. So Al, look, I'm out. I'm not staying here for this. I know what's about to happen.
Mhm.
I see what's about to
Mhm.
happen. And I'll leave it at that. We'll get into it more, but I think that that kind of like gives the basis as to why
Yeah.
we ain't here.
Yeah.
Now they're literally doing the Hunger Games right now. Every state is sending one boy and one girl to compete in these Patriot games,
Yes,
the Hunger
yes.
Games.
Wow.
Next is the Purge. But anyway,
It's-
Wow.
go ahead.
um,
Yeah. I I've I've always wanted to travel the world. That was, you know, something I've always wanted to do. When I was able to, let me tell you something. I mean, and I know COVID was hell for a lot of people.
Mhm.
But it was also, I guess, because I'm also like a child of like Hurricane Katrina. I always see the blessing in the storm kind of thing. Is like, although it has this yin and this yang, like you have the dark parts, but you have the light parts. COVID, fast forward my practice into being completely virtual,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
I was like, that works. Like this
Mhm.
absolutely works because I can move around like I need to, um, and not be bound to, like you said, to the plantation, you know, and feel some sense of freedom, right?
Mhm.
And so Gabe have already talked about this. Like now, he definitely pushed me a little bit. Like, now I want you to know something. This is what's going to happen. And I
Mhm.
said, yeah, it is. And then I was like, yeah. I was like, you know what? I ain't missing the boat this time. I'm not.
The
I've done it
boat is
before.
what
I've
got us
missed the
here in the
boat.
first place. What?
I
Don't
ain't
get on
missed.
the boat. Don't miss the
I ain't missed
plane.
the different
Nigga.
boat.
Hey,
Boats
Different
hey,
is
boat.
dangerous. Yeah, don't do that.
I ain't missing the,
I
look.
don't like
I
no
ain't missing the
boats.
flight. I ain't missing right. I ain't missing the flight
Mm-mm.
or the hot air balloon
No, no,
Yeah.
the boat.
to the land of Oz. I'm not taking the chance to
Mhm.
be in a place where I'm just kind of like going back 3, 4, or 500 years,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and stripping everybody's rights
yeah.
away, and it's horrible because everyone who comes to me is they're feeling that,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
and people might think, oh, you only see black clients. No, I don't.
Mhm.
No, I don't.
Mhm.
I see also clients who are not black who have woken up to the bullshit,
Mhm.
and they are
Mhm.
struggling with that idea because
Yeah.
their family voted for this.
mm.
Mhm.
3 times.
So
There's been
yeah.
a there's been a certain fatigue I know associated because immediately, like you, Gabe, I didn't watch the returns because I knew what it was going to be, and I stopped watching the news because I used to sit in front of the TV and cuss at CNN all day long. Now
Mhm.
I can no longer watch CNN because they keep platforming Scott Jennings, and I don't really know what this particular shit stain is. Ooh. Um,
Being a nuisance society. He's a
bring back
nuisance.
Mark Lamont Hill and Angela Rye and Tiffany Cross and Don Lemon. And once upon a time, I didn't even like him. But anyway, I stopped watching the news and just kind of started reading it when I felt I was capable of handling it.
Yes.
But even when you're not checked in, when you're not clocked in and keeping up with it constantly, it's the awareness that it's running in the background. It's like a
Mhm.
computer. You know, it's the background apps running that drain the battery out of your laptop.
Yes.
It ain't that foreground shit. It's all the background tabs that you have open that are back there just running it down. So it's that fatigue came with just knowing that this moment in time exists. What has been the difference for you all there? Like what is that experience like for you? Um and I had another question, but it's slipping me now. Let's just talk about the difference real quick as we
Mhm.
make our way on up out of here.
You gotta go first with me.
For me, the difference, I- obviously, there's not inflation,
Mhm.
and if it is, it's nothing compared to America.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be able to feel it, but I'm just saying, it's just, it's a breath of fresh air, literally.
Hmm.
Um, and so, you, it's not hard to find community as much as I thought it
Mhm.
may have been.
Mhm.
And it may just be community in the way of like, and by all means, there are other Black expats and people in communities that you can connect to, and that's its own thing. But people who are like, we have made friends with like Brazilians
Bunch of
in
Brazilians.
Portugal who
Mhm.
are very relative. They're literally like people like at home in America,
Mhm.
like they come off like much like Black Americans.
Yes.
Um,
But this is not to say that
And
racism doesn't exist there, right? Like we not.
no, I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
that
Okay. All right.
it does it's not
Anti-blackness. Let me say. Mhm.
go ahead.
I could address that. So let's say this. I think what you would find being Black American, right? And they
Mhm.
know when you're Black American, we are treated differently based on passport. Europe is very classist. And
Oh.
what you will find is that being Black American will get treated better than someone who's from the Caribbean or someone from Africa, right? And I will say what's so wild about it, it's like looking at when we're in Brazil, well, not Brazil, we're in Portugal, you're surrounded by a lot of Brazilians, you're surrounded by Cape Verdeans, Angolans, and people from Mozambique.
Mhm.
That is what you are generally surrounded by. They make up a good portion of the Portuguese population. When you're here
Mhm.
in France, you're surrounded by a lot of Senegalese. You're surrounded by, let's say, some people who are from like other French territories that still
Mhm.
exist,
Mhm.
Malians, people like that. And they all have a different relationship with the country of origin they came from. With
Mhm.
Portugal, there are not that many Portuguese people there. Like when I say Portuguese, I mean like my great grandfather who was from Montezuma, who had came to America all the years ago. They are in the minority. The
Mhm.
majority of the people are Brazilian, Angolan, Cape Verdean. You got some Americans, and we are literally there. It's we don't run into issues like that in Portugal. Now, this is me speaking of
Mhm.
Portugal. For France, you may find it, but it's not going to be in mass because we're everywhere. You go to Paris, you're going to see us. You go to Toulouse, you're going to see us. You here in the Côte d'Azur, you're going to see us. Everywhere around France, you're going to find Black people. It's just the difference is it's based on are they African of the colony? We can treat them a
Yeah.
certain way. But if they're Black American, we're not going to like really come after them like that because the moment
Mhm.
that American accent comes out,
Yeah. There's history with that because I was thinking about how James Baldwin was writing even in the 50s and yeah, because he went to France in 42. I want to say,
yeah,
yeah. But he was writing about how badly they treated the Algerians
yes,
in France.
yes,
Um, it's interesting to know that that's still long standing, and it also this also made me think about. I've seen a lot of on social media, of course, a lot of Black people who have left America and decided to go back to Africa, and they've moved to Ghana, but I've seen a lot of accounts of folks who are saying that they're not welcome in Ghana. That the Ghanaians actually just want their money, but they treat them really badly if they know that you're an American. Hey
yes.
y'all Ghanaian people, I don't know y'all people. I'm not saying nothing about y'all's country. I'm just saying that's what the people has said.
Mm,
I don't know y'all, but I'm just they said the people has said y'all just want us there for your money, for the money, but you don't give a damn about yeah. Anyway, so that was interesting. Do you think you'll ever come back? Well,
It's so
thank y'all for
it's
joining
so
us this week. It's been nice. We
it's so
appreciate you
understandable.
stopping by.
I'll say this.
Damn, you got to think about it because I'm wondering also like you're there and you're witnessing or watching what's happening here, but you still have family and friends here, and so like
Um,
we,
I will say this. There's hope of return because let's just talk about what happened in the Congress this past week. So the Housing Act, the 21st. Oh, we can't do that.
no, I was
Okay.
saying don't come back, don't do it.
Oh, yeah. No, 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 no. No. But I will say that there's a little hope. I'll be very brief about that. Seeing that the Congress finally got together and tried to push forward a 21st century housing bill, it
Mhm,
looks promising. The problem
mhm,
is the president doesn't want that unless the SAVE Act is passed, which I find it to be redundant legislation, personally.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
but I don't see going back because as I age, let's just talk about we talked about earlier about healing over
mhm,
the cycles, right?
mhm,
As I
mhm,
age, I'm looking at crumbling medical infrastructure. I'm looking at the complete depletion of the Affordable Care Act, where they took all the subsidies away and now healthcare is extremely expensive. We live in a place with universal healthcare, where you can walk into a free hospital and be seen by the people. We are in France, where when you get your visa, your long stay visa, it comes with the carte vitale, which means that you get healthcare being here in France. This is something that is almost
Mhm.
unheard of being in the States. And what is so wild to me is that the very people who voted for this administration did not realize what life was like prior to 2012, 2010. You didn't realize what life was like prior to 2010, where you could have a condition, a pre existing condition, and you're just denied.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
that going back, I have to really look at what does 40 look like for me, and does America support 40? Does
Mm.
America support 50? Does it
Uh,
support 60?
America didn't want you to make it to 40. What the fuck are you
That
talking
part.
about? That's because that's the whole reason we can't have the universal health care is because they don't want us to live. They want the poor people and the non-white people to die.
Exactly.
That's right.
So I heard, allegedly. I don't
Allegedly,
know.
allegedly, allegedly.
I That's what the people had said. I ain't said it.
Baby. That's what
Somebody said they want y'all to die. I'm gonna be okay because I am a white woman having a black man's experience, so I'm gonna be okay. My name is Tariq, and
okay.
I identify as a Caucasian woman.
That's right.
That's yes.
That's right.
Transracial.
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 Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You mean Nkechi Diallo? She changed
Yes.
her name. It's not Rachel Dolezal no more. It's Nkechi Diallo.
She's still doing them
Diallo.
videos. She's still doing them.
Some shit like that.
This is why we need
I think she
there.
I think she's still doing braids in her kitchen at this point, but I don't know. She's somewhere
Not a
having a
kitchen
black
beautician.
experience.
You lying. You lying.
She's I am not. You can go Google it. At one point in time, she absolutely was, she said, doing braids in her kitchen.
My God.
Why everybody quiet now? Because the black lady doing braids? Anyway. I'm just saying. Shout out to you. Hey,
We'll
Nkechi.
definitely be coming to visit though.
Whatever.
We'll
Yeah.
come to visit. We're definitely gonna come to visit.
Yeah.
You know.
No. I want to come visit you.
Okay.
You
Come
ain't got to
on.
come here. I've been here
Come
before.
on. Okay. Come on.
I've been here before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ain't got to come here.
It is.
Go
I
ahead.
was
Go
gonna
ahead. What
say
you
it's
gonna
just
say?
beautiful here. It's a different. You get your body goes through a transformation from day one.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
arriving here. Your
Yeah, your
digest.
nervous system is at ease.
Yes. Yes. It's very different. I haven't met
Mhm.
one black person from America that had arrived here and said they did not like it. Like that they weren't transformed by the experience. It may be inconvenience with space, but for the most part, life is beautiful. And it can be way better than it is back in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there one day. I believe somewhere in one of my past lives I was French Creole, and I probably lived in New Orleans too. But yeah,
That was
something.
almost
I don't know why I didn't understand your accent then. Oh, that can't be true. Something in me would have understood. Anyway, listen. Did y'all have any? You got the last words. We got to get out of here. We're over time, but I wanted to devote as much time as was necessary to this conversation because it's important. We talked about some good stuff. What else you got to say before we go? Al, you want to plug your business and tell us where people can reach out to you
Yes.
if they are looking for a virtual therapist, and let us know you take insurance.
Yes.
And what's the copay? Because
Depends on
you got to figure out how many OnlyFans episodes got to be done in order to pay for this shit. So we
You're right
can hear.
about that.
Go
You're right
ahead.
about that. But so my business is Awaken Counseling and Wellness. You can find me on Instagram as the Awaken _ therapist, on YouTube as the Awaken Therapist, as well as TikTok and Facebook. If I do take insurance, again, I'm licensed in Louisiana, Texas, and Minnesota. and I take most insurances, and I do offer sliding fee scales. So I do have limited spaces
Okay.
for people people who can't afford, therapy to be seen for a certain amount of sessions. So I do open up for that because I get it, especially with what's going on right now with all of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, but you can find me on Psychology Today. Google me. But yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for taking the time to come and sit with us today. Well, yeah, to come and sit with Ram. Thank you for sitting in as my
No
co-host
worries.
today, because I appreciate this so much. I miss y'all. I mean, I talk to you on because Al is constantly sending me reels on Instagram. Let me tell you something.
This is my outlet. You ain't gotta watch them all, but I'm gonna definitely
This
make a
week,
reference to something.
you got a cap. You get 5 per 24 hours. Okay,
I just want to
5.
laugh.
All right, that's
I be
it.
trying to laugh. That's it. That's all I want to do is laugh.
I
That's my love language.
appreciate it, but the way my ADHD is set
I
up,
get
I'm
it.
not a person who can see that there's a notification saying that there's something that somebody sent me for me to look at and choose not to look at it. I just don't know how to do it. And when you got 5 different people sending you 20 reels a day, like what are y'all trying to do? I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to
I'm guilty too, y'all.
I'm trying
Don't
to
worry, I'm
heal.
guilty too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Okay. So listen, thank y'all for joining us. If
thank
you're still over
you.
there, I know we ran a little bit long today, but you'll be all right. Again, this is a healing circle. You get to ear hustle and sit on the sidelines and listen to what we're talking about. If you want to go, well, go on in. But if you don't want to go, you can stay. Now, next week we will not be here because we're doing the forum every first, second, and third Sunday, and then we take the fourth Sunday off. I need a break.
Yes.
Okay. So we won't be here next Sunday, but we will be back on the first Sunday. You can follow us over on Instagram. You can make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Actually, today we broadcasted to Substack and to Twitch, and in addition to YouTube and everything. We did all that. I was going to do Instagram, but Instagram be janky. So we will see you next week. Also, if you want to support the podcast, you can go to Cash App. I take cash, Zelle,
Yes.
Venmo,
Food stamps.
EBT,
There you go.
Disney Bucks,
Think about this.
Food Line coupons. I like whatever you got, I'll take it. Yeah, all of that. Walmart gift cards. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. The Bojangles got a gift card because I'll take that too. So anyway, Cash App, $ Tariq TARIQ 43. Send me some money. This shit costs money to do. We will see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Love you so much. Hope you have an amazing Sunday. Y'all be quiet until after I tell you when I say you can talk. We're about to go to the outro. Be quiet. Don't go nowhere. All right.